In our last session, you were given the tools to become the master of your inner world. You learned how to silence the broadcasts of fear and doubt, and how to consciously write a new script to change the most important person in your life, yourself. But there is another, deeper application of this law. A level of mastery that, once understood, gives you the power not only to change yourself, but to change the world around you. Tonight, we address the great mystery of our relationships, the difficult boss, the distant lover, the uncooperative family member. We have been taught to plead with them, to argue with them, to hope that they will change. But what if I told you that their behavior is not their own? What if every person in your life is merely an actor on your stage, faithfully playing a part that you yourself have written for them in the secret theater of your mind? This is the principle known as everyone is you pushed out. And tonight, in our final session, you will learn how to use this profound truth. You will learn how to stop being a passive audience member in the drama of your relationships and become its conscious director. You will learn how to rewrite their scripture. To understand how this is possible, you must first understand the relationship between the director and the actor. In the grand theater of your mind, you are the sole author and director. The world is your stage, and every single person in it is an actor playing a part for you. Now, your reason will scream that this is impossible. It will tell you that every person has their own consciousness, their own free will, and in their own world, that is absolutely true. But in your world, in the drama where you are the central star, they cannot deviate from the scripture you have handed them. Why? Because they are not truly other people in your reality. They are projections. They are messengers, compelled to play a part to show you what is true within yourself. And how do you hand them description? Not with outer words, not with actions or pleas. You hand them their lines, their motivations, and their role through your silent, secret inner conversations. When you silently argue with your mother in your mind while driving, you are in rehearsal, directing her to be argumentative when you arrive. When you mentally criticize your boss for not seeing your worth, you are conducting a dress rehearsal for a scene of disappointment. When you replay old hurts and betrayals from a past lover, you are instructing that actor to remain a villain in your play. Your inner speech is the director's secret instruction, whispered to the subconscious mind of the world. And the world, being a perfect and obedient stage, must, without fail, perform the play exactly as you have directed it. This is the law. It is impersonal. It is absolute. Therefore, to change the actor's performance, it is utter foolishness to shout at them from your seat in the audience. The work is not done on the stage. It is done here, now, in the quiet of the director's chair, in your own wonderful human imagination. So you are seated in the director's chair. You have chosen your actor. The stage is set. The question now is, how do you hand them the new scripture? How do you conduct this inner rehearsal so that it is guaranteed to be performed on the world stage? The method is precise. It is an art. The director's work begins not at the start of the play, but at its very end. You must first define the final triumphant scene. Do not concern yourself with the middle acts, with the how or the when. You write only the short, concluding scene that implies the entire play has been a resounding success. Think of your actor, the person you brought to mind. What is the one line you long to hear them say that would confirm everything has been made right? Make it short, make it natural, and most importantly, make it something that brings you a deep sense of relief or joy. Perhaps it is your boss saying, "You have done extraordinary work," or a lover whispering, "I have missed you so much," or a family member simply saying with sincerity, I understand now, and I am sorry. That one perfect line is your entire scripture. But a script without a performance is merely ink on paper. The true magic happens in the rehearsal. This is the most crucial part. You do not just imagine the words as text. You must hear them being spoken. In your imagination, hear that person speak this new line to you. What is the tone of their voice? Is it warm, sincere, relieved, loving? This auditory anchor must become so real in your mind's ear that it silences all memory of their past harsh words. Look the sound of their new voice, their new tone over and over again. And as you hear it, allow the corresponding feeling to flood your being. The warmth of being praised, the joy of being missed, the profound peace of being understood. And once that inner rehearsal is perfect, once the feeling is so real it saturates your very being, the great director does the most powerful thing of all. He drops the curtain. He lets it go. His work is done. He does not peek from behind the curtain, looking for applause. He does not anxiously ask the stagehands if the scene change is happening in the 3D world. No, he walks through his days with the quiet confidence of one who knows he has a hit on his hands. When you meet that actor on the stage of life, you interact with them naturally, with an inner knowing that they have received their new direction and are in the process of conforming to it. This is faith. This is living in the end, trusting that the rehearsal you perfected within must be performed without. You may be thinking, this sounds wonderful in theory, but can it truly alter a long-standing, stubborn relationship? Can it change the minds of an entire family? I tell you, not only can it must, if you are faithful to your inner direction. Let me tell you the story of a young man who attended my lectures. He had recently married a woman he adored, but his family strongly and vocally disapproved of his choice. They were cold and unwelcoming to his wife, and every family gathering was filled with a painful, unspoken tension. In his mind, he constantly replayed their disapproval. He would have imaginary arguments with his father, defending his wife. He was, in essence, directing and rehearsing a play titled Family Conflict. I gave him the method I have just given you. I told him to completely stop the inner arguments. His only task every night before sleep was to enact a new final scene. He was to imagine a happy family dinner, everyone laughing. His specific auditory anchor was the sound of his father's voice, not critical, but warm and proud, saying to his wife, "We are so very happy to have you in our family." He was to feel the immense relief, the joy, the warmth of a family finally united and at peace. He fell asleep night after night, hearing that line and feeling that warmth. He did not argue with his family in the 3D world. He did all his work in the director's chair of imagination. After a short interval of time, his mother called and invited him and his wife for dinner. He went, holding quietly to his inner peace. And during that dinner, his father, who had been so opposed, turned to his wife, smiled, and said almost the exact words he had imagined. "We are so glad you are part of this family." From that day on, the entire family's attitude was transformed into one of love and acceptance. He did not persuade them. He did not convince them. He simply rewrote the script he had assigned them, and they, being loyal actors in the theater of his mind, performed their new parts beautifully. The story of that young man is the story of your own innate power. He learned the greatest truth, to change his world. He had only to change his conception of it. And so we arrive at a staggering realization. If everyone in your world is simply a reflection of your own consciousness, then there is no one to blame and no one to praise, but the I within you, the critical boss, the distant lover, the uncooperative friend. They were not the cause of your sorrow. They were the messengers, the actors faithfully delivering the lines that you yourself had written for them in the theater of your mind. But in this great responsibility lies your ultimate freedom. In our first session, you awoke to the narrator within. In our second, you were given the tools to master your own state. And tonight, you have been handed the final key to the kingdom, the understanding that by mastering your inner conversations, you become the master of your world. You are no longer a victim in the drama of your life. You are its sole author, director, and central star. With this final instruction, your foundational lesson is complete. You have been given the key. Go forth now, not as a student who is still learning, but as a master who is now ready to practice their art. Your world is your canvas. Your imagination is the divine brush. What masterpiece will you create? The work is always done from within. The world is only the mirror. Now, let us go into the silence